Biden is now holding meetings with top lawmakers from both parties to discuss the next fourth stimulus package. The administration is also removing a few provisions from the new social spending bill, but this change could affect many Social Security recipients. Social Security provides benefits to seniors across a wide range of income levels. In fact, it's possible to have a $3 million income in retirement, but still collect Social Security. But some lawmakers may be looking to change that by imposing a system of means testing for Social Security purposes. Here's how that would work. Social Security is facing a serious financial shortfall in the not-so-distant future. Recently, its trustees projected that the program's trust funds will be out of money by 2035. Once that happens, benefit cuts will be a distinct possibility unless lawmakers manage to find a way to pump more money into Social Security. One such option to achieve that goal is means testing. Means testing is the concept of distributing benefits to retirees based on your needs. Now, there are different ways that means testing could play out. Lawmakers could decide that seniors above a certain income level might see their Social Security benefits reduced, or they might decide that higher earning seniors cannot receive Social Security at all. Social Security cannot sustain benefits at their current level if lawmakers don't find a way to address its anticipated financial shortfall. Means testing and reducing benefits for higher earners is one solution that could help solve the issue at least to some degree, but it's not the one that likely is going to be sitting well with people. And now President Biden's American Rescue Plan is perhaps the most significant legislative accomplishment in his first year and a half in office. The sweeping $1.9 trillion crisis relief bill was also at the center of debate over inflation. The White House maintains that the bill was essential to ushering in the economic recovery, and Biden recently dismissed the notion that his relief plan fueled increases in prices. In fact, economists concede that the $2 trillion bill did contribute to inflation. The crisis-related supply chain issues are major factors driving up cost. The former president also did sign 2 crisis relief bills into law, but many Americans are still waiting through their excess savings from the crisis lockdowns that saw people lose homes and spend less. Jason Furman, who served as the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, said that Americans spent some $800 billion less than normal during the crisis. And a chief economist at an analytic company estimated this week that the rescue package added around 0.1 percentage points to year-over-year inflation, well behind stocks, and caused the crisis and affordable housing crisis back then. The partisan blame game over inflation has intensified as costs and particularly gas prices have continued to rise, despite the Federal Reserve and top White House officials insisting late last year that inflation would be transitory. Recently, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen acknowledged in an interview with CNN that she misjudged the path that inflation would take, citing unforeseen shocks to the economy. But Yellen has also defended the rescue package, which passed in March 2021 with no Republican votes, noting as have other administration officials that inflation is a global problem. Yellen stated that we're seeing high inflation in almost every developed country around the world, and they have very
freezing spending is probably not a good idea, except we just had a flood that cost $1 billion worth of damage in southern Montana. $1 billion worth projected. We freeze spending, that infrastructure never gets rebuilt. So I hear what you're saying, and in some aspects I agree, but it's a lot easier to talk about than it is to do. And I think that's the challenge that the chairman of the Fed has, is that he really needs to focus on what he needs to do. And if it was a simple solution, we'd already had it done. I'm concerned about rural America and the impact inflation's having on.
A CNN poll average of ratings for Biden's handling of the presidency finds that 40% of Americans approve of the job he's doing. His numbers on the economy, gas prices, and inflation are even worse. In recent polls, Biden, after months of weighing the idea, threw his support behind the federal gas tax. So hopefully, President Biden can get something done, everybody. Now, the federal government does not take action soon, everybody, then millions of people are going to see a decrease in their monthly benefit checks. This is no joke. But top Democrats, including Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, are trying to pass a new spending bill, which would address the issue as soon as possible. So Democrats are eyeing a last-ditch plan to avert a spike in healthcare costs that could send further damage to their midterm prospects. This comes as Manchin has sent conflicting signals over continuing the health subsidies, expressing broad support while suggesting the financial aid be subject to means testing. A proposal being discussed currently by congressional Democrats and party advisors in recent weeks aims to temporarily extend and enhance Obamacare subsidies that are part of the financial aid package that President Biden signed into law. These subsidies, everybody, are set to expire later this year. The plan under consideration would keep them in place for at least a few another years. Postponing the insurance premium hikes projected to hit roughly 13 million Americans. It would stop well short of making them a permanent part of the Affordable Care Act. Democratic leadership, everybody, has long hoped to renew the subsidies as part of their sweeping climate tax reform and prescriptions package, while Manchin has demanded a smaller bill that funnels half of its savings toward deficit reduction that's made a cheaper short-term extension perhaps the only viable option for salvaging the Obamacare aid, as long as desire for every program in the bill is made permanent. The search for a path forward on the issue comes amid rising Democratic anxiety over the potential political fallout if the enhanced subsidies expire. The subsidies passed as part of last year's American Rescue Plan that slashed the cost of health insurance for millions of people, with many lower-income enrollees paying close to nothing for their coverage. As more people become eligible for assistance, Obamacare enrollment surged to new highs. Nancy Pelosi has pressed the issue repeatedly in recent conversations about this and the reconciliation negotiations, including during a meeting last week with Biden. Democratic lawmakers, the health insurance agencies, and advocacy groups have ramped up their appeals to congressional leaders, casting it as especially critical given the broader economic uncertainty. But Manchin has been insistent that any deal struck includes significant deficit reductions. The American Rescue Plan just became law over a year ago. It provided a series of stimulus checks in 2021 and it served as a lifeline to many Americans' lives. And as people are struggling with the crisis, reducing food insecurity and providing basic relief, the plan provided several significant tax cuts for working families. Millions of families were able to receive monthly advance payments of the child tax credit between July and December. Now, in order to receive the rest of the credit, these families must file their 2021 tax return. The Delaware Department of Finance recently created an online page where residents are able to check the status of their payments, having been created by House Bill 360. The 2022 Delaware Relief Rebate Program is a legislation that helps provide those who are eligible with a one-time direct check.
Prices keep going up and wages can't keep up. So people are feeling stuck, stressed, and squeezed. So it's no surprise then to see the Washington Post ABC poll number showing that more than 9 in 10 Americans reported concerns about rising prices. 9 in 10 Americans.
Read.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Let me go back, Mr. Secretary, to an issue that Senator Manchin raised, that's LIHEAP. I'm pleased to say that the President slightly increased LIHEAP in his budget this year, but the reality is that energy prices are just exploding. In the past 12 months alone, the price of natural gas has increased by 22%, and the price of heating oil has increased by 70%. So would you support any type of supplemental funding to enhance the LIHEAP so we can deal with this extraordinary increase in prices?
Senator, we would support any effort to try to further fund LIHEAP given the circumstances that we're in.